morning, everyone. We tried to wait a little bit to help with the late desserts in the dining room, and I have a feeling that people will trickle in, and that's fine.
No tickling tonight, a trickle, you said.
Trickling, yes. All right, just remember, what are the rules? Turn your phone off, put your masks on over your nose and your mouth. And we'll wait until everyone has done that. Masks over your nose and your mouth. It's not comfortable, but we need to do it. You have a mask?
I'm going.
Okay. We want you to be here. Okay. It's kind of interesting. My daughter, our oldest daughter, had a little birthday celebration, and she's aware of the fact that we tell our stories. And for my birthday, she gave me a book, and it's called For You When I'm Gone. And when I first saw it, I thought, uh-oh, it's kind of depressing. And then I started reading it, and I realized it's anything but depressing. It is something that we probably should all do. I certainly wish that my mother had done something like this, and that is writing an ethical will. It's not a legal document at all, but it's not necessarily the story of your life, but the values of your life. What are you most proud of? What do you regret? What do you value in friends? This author lists 12 things to consider when you write this for your children. I'm not asking you to do this, but it is very important that your children not only get your wealth, and the wealth can be in the form of your values, which are priceless. I hear someone is getting an important call from,
The president, yeah.
was that from the president or the vice president?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, just a little background. Well, today we have Albert, who also goes by Al, and I just found out that he has a birthday coming up in October, and I thought I was old having had a birthday, but I'm just a kid in comparison. Al's going to be 97.
Oh.
And that's an amazing big number here. We have some other people in that category. It's a beautiful thing. Anyhow, so if you do the math, he was born in 1925, and where were you born?
Where?
Where were you born?
In Mississippi.
In Mississippi, okay. And were you the first child in the family?
No, I'm the last boy out of 5 boys.
Last boy. But there were 2 boys born at the same time. How come you were the last
I
boy?
was the last one because he was here before I got here.
He emerged A little before you, huh?
Right.
Was that something he held up to you all the time, that he's older?
No.
No, no. And what was his name?
He was the boss, though.
He was. You want to repeat that? Some people didn't hear.
He was a little bit smaller than me,
Oh, smaller,
a little bit older than me,
a little older, probably what, 15 minutes or so?
a lot uglier than me.
Oh, twins. Twins. Okay, so of your whole family, there were 8 children, am I correct?
8, yeah, that's right.
8 children, okay, and mostly girls.
Mostly boys.
Mostly boys. Okay, you're right. There were 5 boys
Three,
and
3 girls.
3 girls. Right, okay. Over a period of how many years were these children born?
What you mean? How many years?
Yes, from the oldest to the youngest.
15 years, I think.
15 years, 8 children. I'm going to ask you if your mother had any hobbies. I have a feeling she was a little busy. My goodness. Yes, okay.
Yeah.
And I had just asked Albert if twins ran in his family because I didn't know that his mother became pregnant again with a set of twins. But unfortunately, what happened?
That's what Dad says. When she passed, she had another set of twins. They died and she did too.
So she died in childbirth with a second set of twins. Were you living, so how old were you when your mother died?
Me and my twin brother was 8 years old.
Your older twin brother, right?
My
Older twin brother, yeah. We're 8 years old, okay. And were you still living in Mississippi?
33.
Yeah, we was in Mississippi.
Okay, and your father was doing what?
He was a farmer.
Did he own a farm or did he work for somebody?
Not then.
He worked for somebody.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, and somewhere along the line, I think you said you moved to Arkansas. Is that
Right.
correct?
Right.
The whole family moved to Arkansas?
Yes.
I see. So your father and the 8 children
Yeah.
moved to Arkansas. Who raised the children?
Most we raised ourselves.
Okay.
Let's see, the father, he did that, most of it. But he got married,
Oh, your father remarried?
not, yeah, when I got about 18 years old, I think. He married again,
When you were 18?
yeah.
Okay, when you were 18, is that when you graduated from high school?
Yeah, I think it was 18 or 19.
Okay. In Arkansas?
Yeah, in
Okay.
Arkansas.
Okay. All right, I just want to make sure. Okay, and I thought this was kind of interesting. You learned a trade while you were in high school that most kids probably don't learn. What is that?
Mortician.
Yeah, he learned to be a mortician. How does one learn to be a mortician?
I worked at the funeral home for a while, and then they started teaching me how to do it. And that's where I learned.
And it was something that it didn't make you uncomfortable?
At first, I'd say it did, but after I got used to it, it was all right.
I see. I think you know what you have to do? You have to pull your mask over your nose.
Oh,
Sorry about that. Even the guest of honor. Okay, so you're 18, your father's a farmer. What do you do now?
what I do now?
Yeah, no. What did you do when you were 18? Or 19, whenever you graduated from high school?
I graduated from high school. I stayed on the farm for a while.
Uh-huh.
And I came to Chicago
Oh, uh-huh.
in 1946, I think it was.
After the war.
Yeah.
Well, I understood you were in service.
Yeah, it was in service, me and him.
Okay, this is where you get, yes.
You skipped the part. You came to Chicago, but where did you come to Chicago at?
Where did I come to Chicago
Where did
at?
you live in Chicago?
Oh, I lived on Maxwell Street when I came here.
Uh-huh. Why were you on Maxwell Street?
My brother lived there. My brother, older than me, he lived there. And that's where I came to.
I see. Seems like Willie knows your background there. You gotta be careful. Okay. I'm kind of curious. I don't quite remember when we were talking about you're going into service.
Yeah, we tried to get in World War II. They wouldn't take us. Me and my brother. And when we got to Chicago, we got married together.
Uh-huh.
We are then in college and so stayed in the army about 3 years, I think. Got out. Me and him together, everything I say I did, he did it. So,
Yes,
no problem.
this is what is so fascinating, that you, to me anyhow, that you and your twin brother did everything together. I mean,
Yeah.
you're working
Everything.
and when you got married, what happened?
We got married at the same time. We went to work same time, same job. Our wives worked. We saved our money in a job until we get about $2,000, and then we put it in the bank, all four of us. We lived together for 40 years. And after we get about $4,000 in the job, we put it in the bank. And anybody wanted anything, they go to the job, get the money, and go get it. Out the four of us, I mean.
If you, Jackson, I guess, was worried about the money there. Reacting. Yes, Willie. Willie has something to say.
He left. He and his brother got married with them when they joined the service. Where did you go when you both joined the service?
When they called us, we went to basic training in Tennessee. We left there and we went to Japan. We left there and we went to Korea. And we stayed there for 2 years in the army.
What did you do in Korea?
We was quartermaster.
All right,
That
would you
means-
explain what a quartermaster does?
Yeah, we send supplies up to the front.
Oh,
If they
okay.
wanted to see. We would, me and him would, they would come down and get it, but we get it ready for them when they come get it. And every time they would move forward, they'd tell us to move back further. We just kept moving back.
I see. So when you say supplies, Does that mean like ammunition, guns, or food, or
Food.
what?
Food,
Uh-huh.
clothes, guns, all of that.
I see.
If they need it up front, we send it up front. But when it come this way, we go act that way.
Okay. Now, I remember we talked about something about the USO.
The show, the USO, I think that was the show. We did a little bit in that. Not much, because we was kind of busy, you know. So that was when we was young in a way.
So, are you telling me that you and your brother were entertainers?
Yeah, we did that for a while. We was in show business for,
Show business? Where were you in show business?
but what we done, we was saw shoe comedians.
Oh, and
He
who
would tell a joke and I'd straighten him out.
was the straight man? Ah, okay, all right. So you had it worked out, and you were pretty good with the soft shoe also, huh?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
So was that when you entertained in the USO? Was that the beginning of your entertaining together?
No, we started before we went in service.
Uh-huh.
When we went in service, they hooked us up with that.
I see. Now, when you were entertaining with your brother after service, you had to go to different places, right? And
Right.
I think I jotted down that you were in Tennessee, Wisconsin, Illinois. It sounds like you weren't at home very much.
We was in show business about 8 or 10 years, yeah. Then we got out.
Uh-huh.
One week we got out, we had got married, and those ladies said we stay away from home so much. So we figured we'd quit. So we backed out of that, see. Those ladies lived together with us until we were about 45 years old.
Your wife and your sister-in-law.
Yeah.
I can visualize two women sharing a home, a kitchen, and sharing children.
Yeah.
And it was this cookie jar. This fascinates me.
Yeah.
This cookie jar that you put money in. Let's say I need a pair of shoes. I could just take money out of the cookie jar. I don't ask anybody.
That's right. It was just money, that's all it was, money. So anybody wanted anything, they go to the jar, get the money, go get it. Out of the 4 of us, I mean.
Yes. Yeah.
They wanted a dress, a coat, a hat, or something like that, you know, all that kind of stuff.
How many children?
My twin brother had 6. I had 2 children. And all of the others still living except one. Both of mine are deceased. At 30, the girl at 32 with a heart attack, and the boy at 34. So that taking care of that.
What about the mothers?
Oh yeah, we used to model too. We had me and him, another set of boys, and 2 sets of ladies, girls. We modeled all around everywhere.
Was this clothing modeling
Clothing,
that you
yes,
did?
from,
Fashion modeling?
yeah, that's it.
Not bad.
We
Not
did
bad.
that for quite a few years.
as adults?
Yeah.
I see. Okay. Now, where does the story about the gas station get in?
Oh, yeah. Oh, we mess around and figure we go into gas station business. Me and them bought a gas station. We was gonna open up about 5 gas stations. We didn't make it that far. We stayed at that one for 5 years. And we figured we'd get out of the gas station business. See, we didn't have no hard time in our life, none at all. Only when we were young, I think we was poor. But we raised up a little later. The old man got rich, got half rich in a way.
Your father.
Yeah.
Your father became wealthy, and what did he do that was rather unusual?
I don't know, but he got a lot of money. He bought 2 blocks in the city, the houses and all. Block on this side and a block on that side. Split it up among the boys and him. There's 2 blocks here. Yeah, he had got some money from somewhere, I don't know where, but anyway. We had that until we come out of the army. Me and my twin brother sold it, our part. He still got his part, but he did. And the 3 other brothers had the other side.
So your whole family had homes,
Yeah,
helped by they acquired them through the help of your father,
yeah,
and they were all living together.
yeah.
I mean, in homes right near each other.
Yeah, we had about,
What an unusual situation. They had their own compound, the McCoy compound. Huh?
right.
What about the sisters? Were they
No.
part of only the boys?
The boys, that's it.
Oh, sounds kind of sexist. Oh, didn't he care about the daughters?
Oh, we was gonna take care of him anyway, so it wasn't no problem.
Oh, okay, all right. Now that was in, I believe, West Memphis,
That's right.
Arkansas.
That's right.
I see. Well, what brought you to Chicago?
Well, the old man put us out. No, I just kidding about that. Well, he said, y'all grown now. What you gonna do? I said, we get out of here. That's it. See, we come to Chicago. Been here ever since. 75 years ago. So that's the way it went.
Okay, so where did you live in Chicago?
All over.
All over.
I would say
Okay.
that, yeah.
Okay.
We come to Memphis Street, where the flea market was, and we just moved around. All 4 was no one, nothing like that. 4, 2 ladies and 2 men. Yeah.
Well, what would you say were your best years?
My best year,
Mm-hmm.
all of them, I can say.
All right,
I
how
ain't
about the
had
best?
I ain't had no problems. I don't know, never been to jail, never drank no whiskey, never killed nobody. Yes,
I'm glad to hear all that. That makes me feel a little more comfortable. Yeah. Well, everything you feel, everything that in your life was positive. Is that what you're saying?
that's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, now I have another question. What regrets do you have?
What you say?
What regrets? What do you
No.
wish was different?
That brother of mine had lived a little longer. That's about it.
Yeah, I can understand that.
It was 4 brothers, all of them made 95. My father made 95,
Uh-huh.
and I made 90. 7 almost.
Yeah.
And the girls, they died at 92 and 91.
Well, that's a pretty good heritage. It's too bad that you lost your mother so young. Perhaps all those children were just a bit too much for her, and having another set of twins.
Oh, yeah.
That's too bad. How many of your siblings are alive now? You?
Yes, me, that's all.
Even younger ones?
Yeah. Well, nobody younger than me but my sisters.
Well, yeah, there were several that were born after you, weren't there?
Yeah.
Yeah. So no regrets, and they were all the best years.
All of us pretty good years.
I don't know how many of us could ever even think that. That's amazing.
It was pretty
Really
good.
amazing. Willie, do you have some additional information that he's holding out on us?
He is the last of his line.
Yeah, I'm the last one.
The last of his line.
I gathered that. I don't know if you heard. Willie said he's the last of his line. I mean, I'm visualizing this cookie jar. And I'm coming from work, and I'm putting in what I had.
Mm-hmm.
And you're coming from work, and you're putting in what you have.
Right.
And there's something I really, really, really want. And I just go and get this money, and I'm trusted, and no problems between the brothers. The brothers are one thing, but the wives, the sister-in-laws, living together with their children and sharing everything. You almost had a commune. That's how people live. Everybody works, puts what they have in it, and everyone takes from that to get whatever they need. Did you know you lived in a commune?
I was just living, that's all.
You were just living. What an example. What an example for your children.
Oh, yeah.
And what an example, hopefully, passed on to your grandchildren.
Great grand.
And great-grandchildren.
Great grand.
Yes.
Great
Yes.
grand.
Yes. Do we have some, this is fascinating, it boggles my mind to see that people willingly live together and live in such a shared situation. Yes, the question, well, I'll come with the mic. It's hard to hear. Stay there. Excuse me.
What kind of work did you do when you came to Chicago?
Oh, the first job I had was working at the steel mill. Stayed there for about 2 years. Then we went into show business. And that's the way it got started. We left at the show for about 8 years. And we turned that loose. So here I am now, doing nothing.
Do you have any videos of some of your show business work?
I used to have some of that, but I don't have any of it now.
Oh, that's sad.
Twin brother's house caught on fire and burned everything up. See?
Oh, you know what I didn't say?
Oh.
I didn't tell them what your act was called. Your show business act.
Oh.
What were you and your brother called?
Rusty and Dusty.
Rusty and Dusty. And I found out who was Dusty. How did you get those names?
I don't know. Somebody's come up with those names.
I see.
Take
And And you were introduced, here are Rusty and Dusty, and
Yeah.
then you went into your act.
Yeah. We was on the stage with Sammy Davis Jr., Step Brothers, they used to tell. All of them kind of people, we were with those the most of the time, too. But we did stay away from home a lot, so I can't blame them ladies. They were young, you know.
Yeah.
So we had figured we'd let it go. Let somebody else have the show business.
When did you retire from show business?
I was about 28.
Well, that's a while ago.
Yeah, that's been a long
A
time.
long time ago. Yes, I see. Didn't you miss it?
Not really. We stayed busy doing other things, you know. Just having fun most of the time. Went all the way through life, laughing and talking and telling jokes. That's what we
Amazing.
did. Yeah.
Yes. We have another question here.
When did your brother pass on?
August, not this August, the other August.
Oh,
First week. We've been gone a year and a couple of days.
and is his widow still around?
No, we got married twice. He got married twice, and I got married twice. His wife and my first wife died the same week with the same disease. And his first wife and my first wife, yeah. But they died the same week. And they had the same disease, so the cancer, I think it was.
And after that, after they passed away, did you and your brother both remarry about the same time?
No, it was a little bit different there. He married first, and I married a couple of months later. See, and those two ladies died. Not the same time, but they both gone. So that's the way that went.
Did you have any children, and did your brother have any children with your second wives?
Second wife. My brother had all 6 of his with his second wife. Mine was my first wife. That's the way it went.
Thank you. Yeah.
Six, yeah, he had 6 kids, yeah. 4 boys and 2 girls.
And are those kids of yours and your brothers, are they still around in this area?
His kids are still living, but mine passed already.
I'm sorry to hear that.
What about your grandchildren?
Oh, no, that's another story.
I suspect that there's one here. Do you think so?
Granddaughter, her family's here.
Would you like to come up, please? Yeah, you. I saw you videoing and I suspected.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't you know?
Yeah, I know.
Okay, here's the mic. Tell us about yourself, okay? Tell us exactly how you fit in with the family and who you are. I can read you who you are, but they can't.
Yes, this is my grandfather. My name is Jamila, and I am his son's daughter. My father had a son, and I got a little sister, so it's 3 of us. And then his daughter had 1 child, which is my cousin. So we wasn't too big, but his brother, his twin brother, he had a lot of kids and a lot of grandkids, so we were all very tight growing up. He took us to camp and Florida and a lot of memories.
Are you the one that calls and checks on him?
No, that's my cousin. That's his daughter's
Ah.
daughter. Mhm.
Because I know that he's on a kind of like
No, that's not me. That's not me. It's not me.
Well, how wonderful to have a family that
Absolutely.
that is involved.
Absolutely. But how wonderful is it to have a grandfather that's almost 100?
Right. That's right. You're moving up there. You're
Yeah.
moving up there.
Yeah.
Well, the
Absolutely.
attitude. Were you aware of how the two brothers shared everything?
So this was a learning experience for me. Some of the things, especially going back so far.
Hold the microphone.
Especially going back so far. So a lot of it was a learning experience for me too. But what I do, I like to, when I come around him, I do ask questions. But you know, some of the things I definitely wasn't aware of. Like I didn't know all four of them lived in a house together. So, and I'm guessing that was my grandmother, Mary, right? That was grandma.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming, and you know, so I probably wasn't even thought in anybody's mind at that point. So I didn't know a lot about that, but I did know about the gas station with him and my Uncle Alcus. That's his twin brother's name. You know, and that was years ago too. So I did know a little bit, but this was very, very. I learned a lot today. I will say that.
Good. And now you have some memories.
Absolutely.
Beautiful. That's, I'm not selling this book, but that's what it's all about. Tell your tell your children, tell your relatives that are left about your life. There's so much that is lost. I mean, I think about in my own family. I'm an only child, and I didn't ask my mother what I should have asked her, and how I wonder about those things. I never had grandparents, so it stopped with my mother. And here you're so blessed with a grandfather who's had an amazing life. You know, I don't even have to ask him his values. The very fact that he and his twin brother chose to live together and chose women who were willing to live together and raise their family says something amazing. Where do you find that?
Yeah, I agree.
How didn't you ever have any questions as to why would these women accept this?
Well, I don't know, but they did.
You must have been charming.
Yeah, we was that.
Well, I thank you so much for
Thank
coming.
you. Thank you.
I suspected there was family there. That's wonderful.
This was amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
These are stories that we all need to share with our families. Any other questions? Any other questions? What advice? I have a question. When you had children, what advice, or did you give advice to them when they were going to get married or they were looking for a spouse? Did you say anything to them like, this is what you need to do, find someone that will be happy living with all of us, because that's what our family does? No.
No.
You didn't give them any advice.
No, never did.
You consider yourself a good father? Oh, so I didn't ask the right question.
I'm okay.
Yeah, well, I have a feeling that a lot of the personality that led you to live the life that you led was passed on to your children, to your grandchildren. And I hope they appreciate you as much as we appreciate you.
Yeah, I hope they do too.
You know, and everyone does have a story. And I'm really pleased that more of you are coming forward and saying, yeah, I want to tell my story. It's not very interesting. I don't have it. And yet you have a story. And it's unique. So thank you for all of you who have offered to tell your story. I appreciate it. And I feel certain that those who are hearing the stories are taking something from it. We're all different. We're very fortunate that we have the wide variety of experiences. Some of us were not born in this country. Some of us had to leave the country that we were born in. We all have, and even the dull stories are good stories. And record them, write them, tell them to your family. Because you're the one who can do it. Nobody can do it for you. Thank you again for coming, and thank you.